Hi, my name's Sean Beasley, and I want to talk to you today about tips for quickly surfing the internet with Safari. Safari is quick enough as it is, but this tips are not about performance within the browser itself, but more or less performance issues with the way you interact with your computer. And so this video is going to show you a couple of quick tips how to effectively use keyboard shortcuts if you don't already know that they exist, and in combination with your mouse, depending upon your skill level, you can actually increase your surfing speed immensely. So when we look at Safari, we see that there's a file menu, and out of this file menu I can open a new window or a new tab. I can open a file or open a location. For those of you who may not have noticed it, there are some out there, I'm sure. There's hotkeys is what they're called to activate these file menu functions. You have Command N, Command T, Command O, Command L, and all of these other commands that you can use to speed up your surfing habits if you just learn to use them. So normally when I'm surfing around the web, I'm using my mouse to get to different locations within the web, and I'm clicking on different things, and I may actually stop using my mouse here and read through the page a little bit. Then I may switch to another application and start doing something else. By the end of the day, my mouse is, or by the end of the time I'm done doing what I'm doing, my mouse is completely somewhere else on the screen real estate. And if I go back to Safari, I first have to locate my mouse, run all the way up here to File, and click New Window or New Tab. If I use the Command key and N, I open up a new window that I can immediately use for whatever I want to do. The other thing is, if I want to use a tab, I can use Command and T. When I'm done reading this tab, or with them done reading the window, you can use Command and W to close it. The entire time I don't have to find my mouse, I don't have to move up to the menu, and this is pretty basic, but just one of the features that I'd like to impress upon you to use in order to help you to speed up your surfing experience. The next couple of tips that I have for you, you may or may not know about in Safari. So here I'm searching through Apple, and I may want to go to YouTube to find out if there's any videos about FaceTime. So normally I would run up here to the address, or I would run up here to the search with my mouse to get to where I want to go, but that's not what we're going to want to do. So if I'm down here and I'm surfing, you'll see that there's nothing here selected. If I choose to use Apple L or Command L, I land directly in the URL. If I use Command Alt F, I land in the Google search. Now these things seem a little bit unnatural at first, but if you really start practicing them, you're going to see that not taking your hands away from the keyboard is a whole hell of a lot faster than moving your hands away from the keyboard. Still basic stuff. All of this stuff you can read about here when you go up to your menu functions. You can see how to get to search and how to zoom the pages and things like that. So go ahead and run around in the menus and see what you can find there. So I'm going to use Apple or Command L to get back to my address bar. And I want to go to YouTube, and you see there's already a list of things that I can do in YouTube where I've already been in my history. If I had bookmarks, I would also see my bookmarks here. And if I just hit enter, then I've lost the page where I've been surfing. So I'm going to go back, and I'm going to do that using Command and left bracket. Again, this is going to get me right back to where I was without actually having to move and get the mouse and whatever. If you do have your hand on the mouse, and if you're quick with the mouse, then it might be quicker than I'm doing it with the keyboard, but I generally tend to say not. I don't think if your mouse is all the way at the bottom right hand screen, unless you've got your mouse speed set up to just insanely fast, that you're going to be faster than using the keyboard. So what do I want to show you then? If I want to go to YouTube and I start typing the URL, it's here. This URL has a search function. It's not as good as Firefox, but it's still acceptable. And I want to open up this YouTube link, but I don't want to lose the page that I'm on. I have two options. I can open it up in a tab, or I can open it up in a window. And each of these options, I can open up the tab up in the background, or I can open the tab in the front foreground. So if I hit Control and Enter, you'll see that the tab opens up in the background. If I go back to the same video to YouTube and I hit Control or Command, I apologize, Shift Enter, then it's going to open up in the foreground. So I'll go back using my tab, using my next hotkey function. I'm going to use Control and Tab to cycle through the browsers. Again, a lot faster than finding my mouse. My mouse hasn't moved the entire time, and using the 10-figure system or even hunt and peck until you get used to where the keys are, I'm navigating through the browser without having to remove my hands to start finding the mouse and locating it. It's a whole hand-eye coordination kind of thing. Now if I want to open this YouTube browser up in the background in a new window, it's the same thing. I just used Control or Command Alt Enter. And you'll see in the background I now have a window that I can get to. I can close this window, as I said before, with Command W. I can cycle through my tabs with Control Tab, and I can close these tabs, and now I'm back to my original browsing experience. If I want to open the same channel up in the foreground, then I would use Command and Alt again, Shift and Enter, and immediately it will spring into the foreground. So these monkey grips that you're using, yeah, they're going to be a little bit uncomfortable in the beginning, but it is a lot faster. I can even use Command and the accent mark to cycle through my application windows. So as you can see, it's a good idea to start using the keyboard, because it just prevents you from having to do a lot of extra work that's not necessary. The same thing applies for the Google search. So I went to the address bar. I can alternately hit Tab if I want to. If this monkey grip from Control Alt F is Command Alt F is too much, then I can use Command Alt L and Tab. That's also pretty quick. And if I put in a search term here, we'll take stunt dirt bike. If I hit Command and Enter, it's going to open up in the background. Command Shift and Enter, it's going to open up in the foreground. Command Alt Enter, it's going to open up in the background again. Alt Shift Enter, it's going to open up in the foreground. Again, cycling through my windows with this key combination. Cycling through my tabs with this key combination, and closing different articles as I feel fit. And the entire time I don't have to move away from my keyboard. So I hope these tips have helped you, and I hope you guys are going to be keyboard ninjas before you know it. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.